Is business burnout any different than your typical burnout? A Harvard study from a few years ago found as few as 7% of professionals have been impacted by burnout. So what are the signs you need to watch for? For more on business burnout, we're joined by Dr. Sablaban from Corewell Health and Mark S. Lee. Thanks for coming in this morning, both of you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So, Doctor, let's start with you. We hear the term burnout all the time. What exactly is burnout, and why is it so important to manage?
Well, burnout is this really nebulous concept, and it's only really taken hold in the last 5 to 10 years or so. Clinically speaking, it looks a lot like depression. So it's somebody who doesn't really have a lot of desire or willpower to go ahead and do the tasks they're assigned at work. It's somebody who's not looking forward to work, who's really waiting for the weekend, waiting for the time off, waiting for the vacation. And even when they're not at work, they're really encumbered by the psychological burden of going to work. It's really something that affects different facets of somebody's life, and it's not just relegated to their work hours, it seeps into other aspects of their life.
Yeah, it sure can. I mean, if you're worried about work like that, it seeps into every part of your life. Mark, talk about, small business owners in particular. What kind of things would burn them out?
Oh man, just think about it. You're running your business. It's like raising a baby. You're raising a baby. You're focused on that baby every single day. You're concerned about the health of it. So from a business perspective, same thing. You're constantly in that grind. You're constantly thinking, am I raising enough revenue? What should I be doing differently? So your brain is constantly turned on. So from a business perspective, people get exhausted. And also as an entrepreneur, you're working generally by yourself. You're working on an island. So you don't have a group of support people where you're going into an office every day. So by working alone, focusing on the details of your business every single day can certainly drive that impact called burnout.
Yeah, I mean, you have the burnout from working on the business. You also have the burnout from thinking about money, right? That
Absolutely.
causes a lot of problems.
We know that money is a major issue when it comes to entrepreneurs. So a lot of entrepreneurs have less than $10,000 in the bank. And let that sink in. So that means they're lucky that they will last them another 2 weeks before they even think about shutting down.
Yeah, that's rough. Doctor, how do people best manage burnout? How can you, try to avoid it, I guess, but if you have it, how do you help cope with it?
Well, so there are a couple of different things, and obviously not everybody's in the same boat. You've got people that are running businesses, you've got people that are employed, and right now corporations are really trying to look at how to mitigate burnout. What I would say is creating firm boundaries. So a lot of people, especially post-COVID, a lot of work comes from home. Whether or not you're working remotely or whether or not you're working in a physical office, work seeps into home life. So if you do have a work computer at home, making sure that's far away from where you live typically, making sure it's not in your bedroom, putting up very firm boundaries as far as what your work hours are, maybe not responding to an email after hours, not sort of going the extra mile before work starts, just creating an on and off, just so you can have your personal life, you can have the life you want with your family. Even if you're stressed out at work, creating a space where you can really recuperate, and there's plenty of data that indicates that actually increases productivity and decreases cost in the long run, just for psychological burden.
Interesting. Okay, Mark, but the question is, though, if you're running a business, how do you set those boundaries, and how do you not respond to an email when it could potentially make you money?
I love what the doctor just said. You have to set those boundaries. You're right. Personally, I'm constantly thinking about raising money. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly thinking about my business. But what I've done a good job of is I know my personal boundaries. I will shut down. Right? I will not check believe it or not, I will not check my mobile technology. I will. I have set that boundary. The other thing I started doing is at nighttime, for example, I will watch comedies. I watch you, Chris, of course, you and Sandra every morning.
That's comedy, let me tell you.
But my point is I will shut down and I will just try to find things. I watch the Tigers, I watch the Lions, whatever the case might be. So you got to find those boundaries for yourself. Find that balance in your life. Don't just sit there and focus on the job every single day. It's hard not to do that. I'm guilty of it, but make sure that you take some time for yourself.
Burnout, something we should all be aware of. Doctor, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Mark, good seeing you again.
Absolutely.
We'll see you again next week, I'm sure.